Hello, we're delighted that you're considering Ulster University as a place to carry out research studies. If you're looking to apply for a research degree at Ulster, we hope this guide will help you get through our application process. In terms of how to apply for a PhD Ulster, if you're attempting to apply for a funded opportunity, most of our projects are launched probably mid to late November and will be open until around about mid to late February in each year. If you are arriving at our opportunities via an external web link, you'll probably be taken straight into the project advert itself. If you have just viewed our own web pages, this is our doctoral college web page, and we have all our funded and self-funded PhD opportunities available for you to view. So if we click on the funded PhD opportunities, you may come via this route or you may come via a direct link. So I'm just going to show you how to basically view each of the opportunities and then how to actually apply online. So this particular opportunity with Phil Jordan in geography, we have come to this application and we're going to just view the details of this particular project. So each advert will give you a full summary of the project for which they're seeking applicants. It will give you details of submission deadlines, perhaps when interviews will take place, and then the start date. There's also some handy links, which I'll show you later on the application process and financial information. There's a link to apply online, which will take you into our application system. And further down, you'll see any essential criteria. So this will give you guidance on what personal characteristics you might need, if you need to submit a proposal or a personal statement, basically just anything that you might need for this particular opportunity. We'll also give details on funding and eligibility, which is quite important because some of our scholarships are only available for UK residents, so those who meet the residency requirements, while others are available to EU and overseas applicants as well. So it's a good idea to check this. Some of our adverts will also have recommended reading. So I just wanted to show you, this is basically what a typical advert would look like. If you click through into the apply online, the most important thing that you should be noting here is this number here, normally a 6 or 7 digit number, and that's your project reference. So you will need that for applying to the correct project in our application system. And if you click start application here, it'll take you straight into the actual application system here. If it's the first time that you're hitting upon our applicant portal, you will need to create an account. So what I'm going to do is just sign in for you, just to show you what the system looks like. So once you have created an account and signed in, this will be what your applicant portal looks like. You can see that I've used this in test to apply for quite a lot of opportunities here. Basically what you'll do as you come in is you'll want to go to create a new application. Remembering that project ID, if it's a funded opportunity that you've picked up from the original advert, we will go in here and create our application. So it's quite a straightforward process to submit your basic application form. We just want to make sure that we're selecting research and research from the first two menus. Now, as this is a test system, this is only going to show you a few options here. What you will have when you log in yourself is PhDs in every faculty, both on a part-time and a full-time mode of study. You might have PhD by published works for each faculty, MPhils for each faculty. So you'll just need to scroll down this list and select the appropriate option for yourself. Any funded opportunities will obviously be a full-time course in that particular faculty. So we're going to click study option whenever you're intending to start, and just a wee disclaimer here. So once you submit that, this will be the start of your application. So So you'll see there's two sections to the application form. There is the application form itself, which you will complete all of these sections here: course details, personal details, nationality, citizenship, education history, feedback and submission. Up here there's also an upload support and documentation section, which I will cover shortly. So first of all, this is the key part, the course details, so that you're selecting the right opportunity. And this is where we'll be entering that 6 or 7 digit number to get you to the right place. So point of entry will just be year 1. Unless you're transferring from another institution, you'll always have point of entry as year 1. This will be a long list of all our research opportunities. So it will be in numerical order. So if you've noted down the correct opportunity, you just select this through the search function. And just details if you've been previously registered on a research degree before. If it's self-funded, private sponsor research applicant. So that'll be for those of you who are either have a private sponsor or are able to self-fund your studies. So do not select this if it's a scholarship opportunity. So I'm going to say no, because I want to apply for scholarship. Save and continue. This will take you to the next section of the application form. Now, because I have been in this system before, I'm not a new applicant, as it were, the system will remember my details. So if I have applied for, say you're applying for multiple projects, the system will remember most of your personal details and your education history, which is quite handy. So just checking, this is just basic application details, your personal information. So I just save and continue. I'm just going to make sure everything with an asterisk has something against it. Oh. And then save and continue. And you just work your way through each of these 5 elements. So nationality and citizenship, this is obviously important for us to work out for which scholarships you're eligible. So just complete the details in this. Again, in my case, this has remembered details from previous applications. I'm just going to go through and select random information here for this purpose. But this would be how we determine your eligibility for scholarships. Passport details. If you don't have a passport at this time, you can see here that it's just telling you to enter dummy data. You just need to do this to get through the system. So just put zeros in here because we are aware that some of our applicants won't have a passport at this stage. If you are from overseas, you will need a passport by the time we go through the application process, recruitment process, and you will need that for issuing a visa for your study. But for this, you can bypass this by just entering zeros into this stage. Then it'll ask you about English language. If depending on the answers you put to some of these questions, you might get different pop-up boxes. So if I say no here, you'll see that it opens up different questions that you need to answer. So we'll go into more detail about English language later on, but for the time being, just to get through this process, I'm just going to complete some details. Again, I'm just putting random information in here to get through the system. What I would say is anything with an asterisk, you do need to complete. Anything without, you don't have to do that. So just going to go through this process. Education history. So for our research degree applicants, you don't need to put your secondary school qualifications. So you can just delete secondary school qualifications and you don't need to do that. So we only really need research. We only really need your undergraduate and your postgraduate degree details at this stage. So again, I'm just going to delete that because it's not necessary. In terms of further and higher education, this is really what we're interested in. So again, just put the details of your degrees in here. We will, as part of supplemental items, be asking you to upload your certificates, but if you can enter all the details in this section, that would be excellent. So I'm just going to save and continue. And the last bit is just feedback and submission. So just declaration that everything you have done is true and accurate. A little bit about data protection. You just need to sign your name there and your signature date, and then submit application. Now, if at this stage there's any fields that have an asterisk that you haven't completed, it'll tell you that, and it'll take you back, to complete the relevant section, and then you just save and continue through to this final page again. Now, one thing that's quite important to note at this stage is that if you won't be asked to submit any supplemental items until you have got through this stage of the process. So some people think, I haven't submitted yet, I haven't attached my research proposal, but you will only be asked to do this after this. You have submitted the basic application form. The reason for that is that different programs within the system require different supplemental items to be attached. So the system doesn't know which program you're applying for until you get through this section. So what you'll receive on the back of submitting that application is an invite to go back into the system straight away and upload any supplemental items. Okay, so once you have received the email prompt to go back into the system, you probably can do this straight away without waiting on the email, but you'll receive an email prompt to go back in and submit certain supplemental items. If you go back into your portal, you will see that some of these applications will have action required against them. So you can go in and view what it is that you need to do. So if I go in here, I can see there's now a list of supplemental items that have been added to my supporting documentation. And as I said, this will only populate on your portal once you have submitted your basic application details. So it's just a case of then going through and uploading everything that's required. So as we can see, for a PhD, you need to upload a CV. The one thing to note about uploading any of these details that some people have trouble with is that you choose the file, you go into just any, I'm just going to again go into any random document that I might have on my system. Might take a wee while to download it. So the one thing to note is that when you get to that stage, that's not actually uploaded until you click this upload button. So we do find that a few people think, the system isn't working, and it's just that until you have actually clicked the upload button, nothing will upload. So the CV is fairly standard. A personal statement, if that is required, and again, we have guidance which I'll show you shortly on what's required in terms of a personal statement. Just upload that. Postgraduate, so PG certificates is your postgraduate certificate, so any master's degrees or whatever that you have, if you can upload original certificates. If you have a degree pending, so say you're currently on your master's degree, you might be able to upload your master's transcript to date, but you might not have the certificate yet. So just that's okay, just leave that blank and we'll pick that up at our end and we'll waive the requirement for that for you. So don't worry if you don't have any of these documents. You may not have done a master's, you might be coming straight from an undergraduate degree, so just leave these blank. They will show on your portal as being required until our team assess your application and waive them. So don't worry if there's a little delay in that. Then UG certificates and transcripts, that's your undergraduate degree, so your bachelor's degree. We would need details of that, and similarly it may be that you have a degree pending, that you're in your final year and don't yet have your certificate, so again you can just leave that blank. English language proficiency is the last one. We find most people would maybe upload their GCSE certificates if they're home applicants. For overseas applicants, there is a list of recognised qualifications that you can use. So that's quite important that you view that on our website to see what eligible qualifications. The main reason for this is that the Home Office they'll reject a visa application if you don't have the correct evidence of your English language proficiency. So I'll just maybe show you now where to go to get details of to view the list of acceptable qualifications. Okay, so from our website, if you click on the prospective applicants, go through to this section, and you can see there's a little link for application process instructions and advice. So this is quite a handy page for you to hit upon just to read a wee bit around the process. So we have, in this section, we have details on how to apply online, which gives you more information just about what we're going through on this little video. That will give you more detail. Special guidance for international applicants in particular. English language requirements is what I want to look at just now. If you're an exchange student, so if you want to come over, if you're currently on a PhD and are coming over to do maybe a 3 or 6 months study period over here, you need to check out this. If you're transferring your PhD from another institution, there's other information you need as well. So I just want to go into English language requirements here and just show you this link because it's this is quite important because it's what we would require in terms of helping you get your visa. This is applicants from EU and UK, so you can see a list of all the qualifications. Just really want to signpost you at this stage to this section. Full list of accepted tests is for our international applicants. And you can see that there's details on equivalency. So IELTS would probably be quite a common certificate across the world. If you have that, just tells you basically that you need a minimum of a 6 overall. So the details are all there. We also have quite a long list of other acceptable qualifications. So again, just read through these, see if you hold any of these qualifications. It might mean you don't have to go and get an IELTS test. So for example, the West African school qualifications are acceptable. So just have a look through this list. These are the only qualifications that are acceptable for us to help you get a visa. So just quite a handy link for you to check out. Once we've uploaded, I'm not actually going to do this for all these, but once we've uploaded all the documents and you have basically submitted that, then it'll be over to our team to review the documentation, pass it through to the research areas for shortlisting, and we will basically take it from there. The one thing that might happen, some of our units require references. So we do get quite a lot of queries about references and how to submit them. This is all done through the system. And if you'll get an email prompt to say that you've been shortlisted for interview, and in some cases you might be required to provide references. Not all units do this, so don't be afraid if you don't get that request. If they apply the requirement for references, this is where you'll come. It's called recommendation requests. Now, in this case, this hasn't happened yet, but I want to just show you the process for doing that. So you don't need to submit a reference that an email that a referee's provided you directly. You do it through this system. Okay, so once the requirement for references has been applied by Ulster staff, you'll receive the email to notify you that you need to start this process. This is again, it's just a test system. What you'll see academic reference research 1 and academic reference research 2 with an asterisk beside it. This is duplicated as I was just using this to test earlier on. But when this is prompted for you and you can see that you need to start this action. So to request a reference, it's very easy. All you do is put your referee's name in, your referee's email, again, this is just dummy data. You can have space here to write a personal note. So if you want to tell your referee that you're applying for a PhD at Ulster, whatever it might be, you can write something here. I'm not going to do any more than that other than submit the request. What that'll do is that'll go straight through to your referee that you've named and put their email in, and you can see that the status has been updated on Academic Reference Research 1 to say sent. Now, you can monitor this. If you have a deadline for submitting these references, and you can see after a week that it's been sent but not completed, you can either cancel that and ask another referee to act in that capacity for you, or you can that's basically what you would need to do, or you can send them a personal prompt, whatever way you want to manage that. But you can manage that process yourself. You won't actually see the reference when it comes back. It's basically it's a form that they will complete for you, and it's a standard reference that we use. You can see in this case that one of the references has been completed. So that's what you're looking for, to just keep an eye on it yourself. If you're required to submit a reference within a deadline, that's how you would manage that process. Some people, because it's called recommendation requests, it's not that obvious necessarily, but that's where you manage references. Again, to the portal. That's probably all you'll need to do. You will, as part of the process, hopefully if you're invited for interview, you'll get notified of the dates and times, normally via an email, and then hopefully, as I say, if you're successful, you'll get notified through the system if you've been successful, and you'll get asked to accept or decline again through the system. So hopefully this portal will make the application process hopefully straightforward for you. And just wish you well in your application process. Okay, so I just wanted to finish by, I suppose, showing you the checklist of supplemental items that you'll normally be required to provide. Just can be handy to have this as a guide. And just to emphasise again the point that if your closing date, if you have a competition deadline, the closing date stated is for your application to be submitted plus all the required supplemental items need to be completed by that deadline. Again, if there's anything that you don't hold currently, if you don't maybe have a passport at this stage, if you don't have a qualification, that's okay. But as long as you submit the required supplemental items that you hold, if you don't submit the supplemental items in time, so if you wait too long and maybe just submit your application, a couple hours before the deadline, and then you can't get, the proposal written or whatever, your application will actually be withdrawn on the closing date if we don't have, the supplemental items plus the application form. So it's just very important to note that you give yourself enough time to write the research proposal if that's required, or the personal statement, whatever it might be. We always would encourage people to contact the named supervisors on the projects. That can be a good help in terms of making sure that you're going in the right lines in terms of a proposal or whatever it might be. But that was all I wanted to cover today. I hope it's been helpful, and good luck.